Have you ever met someone who is just a bright light in the world? Someone whose purpose and passion is to spread joy? If you haven't, I want to introduce you to Victoria Gaither. Her story will inspire you to get out of your comfort zone and to choose happiness. And if you watch the interview all the way to the end, she will tell you how, even on difficult days, she maintains her happiness. Before we get started, I'm Constance Howard, executive coach on a mission to help women gain unstoppable confidence. Now, if you're new here, I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you'll be notified when any new videos are posted. Now let's get to today's interview with skier and happy person, Victoria Gaither. Vickie, I can't tell you how delighted I am to see you, first of all, and to have this moment with you. It's like a full circle because we've known each other for decades. And, we knew each other, then we went apart. We kind of followed each other on Facebook, and
Yeah,
now we have a moment. So I'm so happy.
I am super happy too, and thank you so much for inviting me. Not only is it great to be here, but yeah, it's great to see you as well, Connie.
So, every time I see anything that you post, it's so positive, it's so uplifting. And you, to me, embody what it is when you're living in your passion and your
Yeah.
purpose, and you're just a happy person. Um, and when I thought about it, I thought, well, she was always a happy person.
I think you are correct in saying that. My grandmother, when she was alive, would always tell these stories about when I was a kid. On weekends, anytime anyone would come over to the house and they would say, "Hey, Vickie, do you want to go here? Do you want to do this?" I would just jump at the chance, and I was always out the door before I could say yes or no. So yeah, I've always been that way, and I've always been pretty happy all the time.
Now, have you always followed your purpose and your passion? Did you always know your purpose and passion?
Actually, I did, and as I got older, you sort of can chisel that down, and it became more and more clear. But my purpose and passion is people. I just love people. I've always loved stories. I've always been interested in talking to people, and because Connie was my boss at one time when I was a reporter, I always enjoy doing people's stories. So I really do like people, and I think what I found out later on in life is that I became a cheerleader for people. So I was always sort of cheering and rooting for people when there were people, who didn't have anyone in their corner, whether it was business, whether it was school, or whatever it was that they were trying to do. I was always the girl who say, "Yeah, you can do it. You can do it."
Mhm.
So I really have always been that person, but now I think I do it more with a passion.
Yes. Yes, I can see it, in everything that you post. As I said, it's always positive and uplifting, and it makes you feel better. Like, I feel better after I read some of your social media posts, and that's so weird because, people go to social media to tear each other down. No, really.
Yes,
They
yes,
tear each other down, and whether you're sending, posting pictures of sunrises, as I saw this morning,
yeah.
it just makes you feel better about everything that's going on in the world. And the thing that I also love about you is that you live outside. Um, I don't want to say your comfort zone because that's not what I mean. You
Right.
live outside of stereotypes.
Yes, I do. I do. Yes, yes. And
Mhm.
one of those big stereotypes is skiing. The
Yes.
idea that sort of Black people don't ski, we don't like winter activities, we're not snowboarding, we're not ice skating. And growing up in DC, winter was always my favorite season. And I can remember, and Connie, you would know this, down on the mall when they would bring the ice skating ring in the
Yes.
winter. and by the, I think it was
Mhm.
the across from the Castle Museum, and you
Mhm.
could get a chance to go down there and ice skate. And also being close to DC, we had a few ski resorts. But yeah, I always loved winter, and it wasn't until I got to college and I decided that I wanted to try to ski, and it was on a school trip, and I was not good at it at all. You know, like I
Tell the
remember.
story because tell the story because I love this story.
Yeah, so I went out there, and prior to this, I'd seen the Olympics and I'd seen skiing on television. I thought, this is me. I can do this. Well, I was horrible at it. I mean, make it down the mountain, and I sat on the side of the mountain, cry my eyes out. And this beautiful Black woman skied up next to me, and she helped me get up, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And I said, "I don't belong here." And she was so fierce with her response and very rapid. And she
Mhm.
looked at me and she says, "Don't you ever say that. You belong here, and you belong on any mountain that you want to ski on or hike on. So don't you ever say that." And she got me up, and I wiped the tears from my eyes, and she helped me get down the mountain. But she's a perfect example of that. When you talk about stereotypes and people of color, I mean, really, Black people have been skiing forever. So
Mhm.
this idea that we don't do it, or if you say to another person of color, "I'm going skiing this weekend," and they say, "What? Black people ski?" I'm always
Right.
surprised by action, because we've been doing this sport forever, certainly not in large numbers, but I
Mhm.
think not to acknowledge the Black skiers and snowboarders that are out there doing it is to say that we don't exist.
Right.
And if you're clued into the National Brotherhood of Snow Sports, if you're clued into the Black Ski Club, there's so many Black ski and snowboarding clubs in America that people are out there. We're doing it every single day.
Yeah. So let me go. Let's step back to the woman who helped you down the mountain. When
Yes.
she said that to you, what did that spark inside of you?
Uh, Really, it was encouragement,
Yeah.
because she believed that I could do it. And not only did she believe that I could do it, me looking at her as a woman of color, and we were the same color, I thought, well, if she's doing it, then surely I can do it as well. So it was really encouragement. And also, quite frankly, Connie, that she just took the time to help me.
Mhm.
She knew that something was wrong with me sitting on the side of that mountain, because no one's sitting on the side of the mountain. You're up and you're going down the mountain, not sitting on the mountain. So for her to do that and to have that impact that she had on me at a very early age was significant, because I think, honestly, had she not done that, I don't know if I would still be skiing today. I probably would have given up on it.
Mhm, mhm. Now, what's interesting to me is that you are the roles have reversed. Now
Yeah.
you are the person, right? Right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
in your current position, you are the one saying, "We're here and you
yes.
can be here too." So tell me about that when the opportunity came. What went
Oh,
through your head?
yeah, it was a wonderful opportunity. I was working for my newspaper, the Mountain Times, in Killington, Vermont, which is my home mountain, and it was World Cup. So if you know anything about World Cup, it's really big. They have it there every single year, at least for several years. And I was talking to one of my bosses, and we were just sort of talking about the World Cup, and I just gave her my thoughts and what I thought about the whole Black ski industry and people thinking that we don't ski, and the whole rhetoric around that, and conversation needs to change. So she says, "Well, why don't you write about that?" And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Sure." And she said, "Why don't you write about that? You can be a contributing editor, and you can write these amazing stories about, people of color when it comes to skiing and your experience." So I said, "Sure." So I'm going to hold this up for you to see. So
Okay.
the article came out. There it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I wrote about it, and it was so successful. There were so many people that were reaching out to me to come speak to their different ski clubs and asking me questions and just really wanting me to be a part of it. And I just basically wrote that we're not new to this. So you're right. Now I am the person, the woman who helped me get off the mountain. I am that person now. And I've
Yes.
had so many people that reached out to me that said, "Hey, your article inspired me. Now I'm gonna get up. I was you sitting on the side, and now you got me up."
Mhm.
So I actually had a few moments where I was a bit teary eyed because I never thought that I would be the woman who helped me. Never in my wildest dreams, Connie. Never.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what I love about this is that when you change your perspective on just one thing, then that
Yeah.
opens the door to everything else. Other things in your life you start to reevaluate. If they said, if the stereotype is I can't do this, and I'm
Yes.
looking at all these people doing it, well, what else can I do?
That's good. Yeah, that's good word. And I never even thought about that. But as always, you're so smart. You give us as good is that is what you do as well. But no, you're right. Because that really is sort of a metaphor for life, isn't it? That you can look at
Mhm.
something and say, well, I can't do this. And then to take it a step further and say, well, what are other things in my life that I maybe think about doing that I'm not doing that perhaps I should try to do? And,
Right.
skiing is one of those things where it's very individual sport, really,
Mhm.
because it really you against the mountain. So,
Mhm.
are you going to be able to get down the mountain? I've gone down some steep terrains and I just thought, I don't know if I can do this. But then you study the mountain and you say, well, if I sort of cut across the steepest part, then I've gotten through it, right? So
Mhm.
and you can look at
Mhm.
that with life. If you kind of go through the steepest part and deal with the steepest part, then you'll get through it and you'll
Right.
get down.
Right. So what is the number one question that new skiers, people who don't ski, young African Americans or any people of color,
Mhm.
what is their one fear? Is it that I'm not
I,
going to
I,
get
I,
past
I,
the
I,
mountain?
I, I would say two things: getting over the cold,
Okay.
which it really isn't a problem because trust me, once you put your gear on, then you're kind of hot,
Right.
and generally you overdress. And I would say the second thing, not only with people of color, but in general, how to stop. Everybody wants to know how to stop because you see people skiing and they look like they're going fast, some are out of control and some are in control, so everybody wants to know how to stop. I would
Right.
say that.
Right. Okay. So you get them past that hump, and then what happens? How do you take someone from, "Oh Lord, how do I stop?" to, "I love this,
Right,
and
I
I'm
love
gonna
the oh
keep
lord.
going."
And listen, I've had so many oh lords, how do I stop moments, so I can certainly talk about that. I think what you do then is that you find a very comfortable trail to teach them on, and turning is what stops you. So if
Okay.
you can turn, and I'm always working on my turns slow you down. So
Mhm.
whenever you see people skiing, take a look at their turns and you'll see that you slow down because that is going to allow you to stop. So I would say, those two things, and just really saying to yourself that you can do it and you can try it. So this season, I've decided I want to try snowboarding because it's sort of been in the back of my mind. I thought I can
Mhm.
do this. If I can ski, and surely
Right.
I can snowboard. And next week I've been invited out to Mount Hood to Timberline to Oregon for a Black History ski event that I'm going
Oh.
to be speaking at. So I may actually try a little snowboarding when I'm out there. Yes, we'll see.
My nephew loves snowboarding. He absolutely
That's right,
loves.
he does.
Yes, he does. So tell me a little bit more about the magazine and the articles that you're writing, and just what information can I get from the magazine?
Yeah. So the first they're really essays. So the first essay was just, entitled The Black Skier. And not only was it, talking to people in general, but also our own people of color to say, let's move the conversation forward about we don't ski, because
Mhm.
that's not true. You're sort of setting us back,
Mhm.
when it comes to that industry by constantly saying Black people don't ski, Black people don't ski. Well, Black people have been skiing forever. So that was really, the gist of that. My second essay, which comes out next week, that I'm excited about, that really talks about what it feels like to be a part of a winter community. Everybody knows what it's like in summer, but to be a person of color in a winter community where you're thriving, where you're skiing, you're snowboarding, you're snow tubing, you're skinning up the mountain.
Mhm.
So that was pretty interesting, because to be able to write about that, when you would see television shows of white people at a ski lodge, well, now my story is there are people of color at these ski lodges, and we've got our fantastic outfits on and looking great and doing what we do. Um,
Uh-huh.
so that second essay really talks about the importance of a ski community and winter community and what that means. So I'm excited, to talk about that. But really, my boss gives me assignments. So my third assignment is to ski blind, because there are, yes,
OMG. Now talk about a oh Lord.
yeah,
That's an oh Lord.
I know, right? Well,
Yes.
I haven't done it yet, so I'm supposed to do that next week. But, in Vermont and ski resorts all over America, there are blind skiers, there are skiers with disabilities that they adapt for. So
Mhm.
she wants me to put a blindfold on, and she wants me to ski. Now, I'll have Michael's probably going to be with me. I'll have someone there to assist me that I need to lean on and trust to help get me down the mountain. But I've got to tell you, I'm pretty nervous about this one, Connie.
But you know what? Just talking about breaking stereotypes, because I would have never imagined that if you hadn't said that. You know what I mean? Like I've seen skiers with disabilities, but never a blind skier, you
Yeah,
know?
well,
And
yeah, and they are out there, and I think it's wonderful that the ski
mhm,
has said, just because you're blind or you have some disability or whatever thing that you've got going on, but we're still going to adapt the skis, and we're still going to make it so that you can ski. I mean, I think one of the best skiers in the world, I'll have to find that information for you, but he is blind, and he literally can ski some of the tallest mountains in the world, but he
mhm,
he does it based on senses, and he does it based on what he calls pinging and
mhm,
echoing, that he can actually, as he says, he can hear the snow, he can
mhm.
hear the mountain, and he knows which way to go. So
Wow.
that alone is just, it's amazing.
Right. It is amazing. And you know what's interesting about that is that while you're talking about this, I'm thinking, wow, that community is so welcoming and so inviting. They don't care what, it
Yeah,
sounds like they don't care what problem you have. Come on out, come on
exactly.
in. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's one thing I have found about the ski community, and it doesn't have anything to do, in terms of color and race and background. They are very, very welcoming, because everybody wants you to be out there on the slopes to ski.
Mhm,
Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to make sure that you're going to have the best experience possible. And to that end, you probably know, but there's so many organizations and nonprofit organizations for people of color
mhm,
that are out there doing it. And it doesn't matter, Connie, what state. So I would encourage anyone, if you've ever thought about skiing, there are grants, there are different ways that you can do it. Because you and I both know skiing, it's expensive. It's not cheap to
that was my next question to you.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not cheap to do. So by the time you get your gear, you get the boots, your lift tickets, it can go well into two, three, four, $500, depending on the ski resort. But I will say that there are a lot of resorts that have specials,
Mhm,
so you can look for a day where you're going to get a 2 for 1.
mhm,
You can rent the equipment. So it is pricey, but still insane that you can definitely find some resorts where you're going to get a $45 lift ticket, as opposed to some resorts where a lift ticket is $150. So
yeah.
it's just a matter of you sort of, being out there and kind of looking and trying to find some. A lot of
Mhm,
good resorts in Pennsylvania, a lot of good resorts in
mhm,
Virginia, in our area, in the DC area, a
mhm,
lot of
mhm,
resorts in New York. My goodness, New York has some of the best resorts and
mhm.
great prices as well.
Mhm. So if what are the big things coming up? Like what's coming up? Isn't there, like, my sister used to live in Colorado, and she
Mhm.
said that there were certain times in the season where African Americans would just take over a town, you
Yeah,
know.
actually, yeah, that is I believe I know it's the National Brotherhood of Snow
Mhm,
Sports, which used to be the National Brotherhood of Black Skiers. So
mhm,
now they've really sort of changed their name to incorporate all winter sports.
mhm.
And they're going to be out in a Big Sky country in Montana, actually in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Wow,
Um,
okay.
and that is when all of the black skiers and snowboarders in America, Canada, and from other different countries literally get together
Mhm,
and ski. And you're talking 3 or 4 thousand. I think a couple of years ago, NBC News did a really good piece on them. But that is, the oldest ski black organization in America, and I belong to the Washington D.C. chapter.
mhm.
So yeah, so when everybody gets together, I mean, you can imagine, not only is it a party, but it's an opportunity to fellowship, Connie. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity, if you're interested in becoming a ski instructor, or to sort of go on the education side of the industry. You've got all the resources and things and people in place. So I mean, it is just one big welcoming community.
Right, right. So what's next for you, Vickie? Because I can see, you know, with our TV background, you know what I'm getting ready to say.
I
How
know.
come you're not taking this on TV, on TV,
I
on cable?
know.
Yeah.
I know everyone's been saying, you should do something on YouTube, or you should do something. So
Yes.
because, and because you follow me, I'm at so many ski resorts. I'll be at West Mountain tomorrow. This weekend I'm at Butternut Ski Resort in Massachusetts. Next week I'm in Mount Hood. So I think for the future, Connie Howard, that is something that I should think about. Yeah. Or no, maybe I have a better idea. I'll come and do live reports for you wherever I am skiing around.
Listen, I would appreciate that because,
I would do.
even though, my thing is talking to women about their confidence. And I think that this is such a confidence booster to get out of your comfort zone, to try something you've never done before, that builds your confidence.
It does.
I haven't tried skiing, but I did like wall climbing, that they call it rock climbing, but I was inside. And I thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm
Yeah.
just going to do it. And I was so happy that I did. And that's what I love about what you're doing. One, you're a cheerleader, so you're just cheering people on, and then to take this myth that has been
Yes.
decades old. I mean, come on, you're born and you're told you don't like the cold weather, stay away, stay away from the snow, stay away from the mountain.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to say no, that's not the truth. It's
Yeah.
such an empowering message.
Yes, yes. No, I agree with you on all points. And it's one of those things that, maybe for someone else it's not going to be skiing or snowboarding. It may be rock climbing that you talked
Mhm,
about. It may be going for a hike. It may be,
mhm,
anything that is your thing, but to do it and to get out of the comfort zone and then to say that you've done it, I just think that's remarkable,
yes,
because we all have the ability to do things that we want to do. I
mhm,
mean, and everybody who follows me know I'm always happy. But some of that is my choice. I mean, by nature, I am a very, very happy person. But there are days where I don't really feel like being happy. But I say, you know what? Actually, I'm going to choose to be happy today. And
mhm.
then when I choose to be happy, it just makes for a better day for the rest of my day. And you just sort of go along with things. But I think sometimes things have to be a choice, because
Mhm.
it's so easy to wake up and say, oh, it's raining outside. It's not going to be a good day. But it's also easy to say it is going to be a good day, even if it's raining outside. So, make it the best of what you can.
Absolutely. Well, I'm cheering you on, and I'm following you, and I just love what you're doing. I so appreciate you giving me time today.
And thank you so much for having me on. And I hope to come back again soon.
So, are you ready to break out of your comfort zone and live with purpose and passion? I hope so. Comment below on what resonated with you in this conversation. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one conversation with me, head over to my website, constancehowardllc.com, and you can book an appointment there. You can also leave it in the chat, leave it in the comment section below, and I will make sure that I follow up. And just a reminder, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you'll be notified when new videos are posted. Thanks for your support, and I will see you next week.